Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. I've been thinking about something, and I watched a couple of videos in the last couple of weeks that really made me want to do this video. And those videos were talking about, people can't get the medical supplies they need for different diagnostic things and whatever. And I have actually seen that for myself right here where I'm at. I've talked to a couple different people that had appointments and stuff canceled because they couldn't get the stuff that they needed for whatever it was that they had to have done. And it gets to the point of, who's the real enemy? Who's the enemy of the people, so to speak? And this gets back to what I learned from the old timers. The old timers never trusted big money, and that's what we would call the elite now today, or the corporations, was big money. There were small businessmen around here that had businesses and stuff, and they employed people and whatever, and those weren't what I'm talking about. We're talking about the real big money, and never trusted it, because most of the people that I grew up with that were older when I grew up, they all lived through the Depression. They seen the banks take everybody's money, take their land. There were people here that moved to other parts of the country to try to have a better life, start farms and stuff of their own, and they watched all that go by the wayside in the Depression. And I guess Eisenhower touched base on it a little bit in his MCI speech, if you don't know what that is. It was the speech that Eisenhower gave when he was leaving office. But I've seen this stuff for myself in my working and stuff over the years. And I'll tell you this one little story here. This was back in the early mid-1990s. I was ordering stuff, and there were certain things that I had from a particular company that sold, and then all of a sudden we stopped getting that. The company I worked for, we stopped getting that stuff. So I was like, man, why aren't we getting this stuff anymore? So I picked up the phone. Back then there was no email. You had to pick up the phone and actually talk to somebody. And I picked up the phone, and I called this particular company where we got this stuff from, and they said, oh, well, yeah, we're not doing business with you guys anymore. And I said, oh, yeah, what happened? And the guy on the phone basically explained it all in a nutshell, and he said, your company came to us and said, hey, we want you to start making your stuff overseas in a particular country. And he said, we didn't want to do that. That's not why we're here. And they said, oh, we want you to, go over here and have your stuff made over here, and we're going to introduce you to the people. We're going to facilitate that for you so you can make more money, put more money in your pocket. We can put more money in our pocket. But never any thought to the consequences, what that could take place, like what's taken place here in the last few years. Who thought it was a good idea to have all of the things that normal people need made in such a way that if something happens could degrade our way of life, and not just for us, for other people too. Not just for, I'm talking about, human beings in general. I don't think anybody anywhere has had a good 2 years except that big money, what I was talking about. And people argue about, parties and ideals and regimes, but who finances all that stuff? That power and that influence, that's all run behind the scenes by that big money. Whatever that big money wants, those are the agendas and stuff that's pushed. And then us, what do normal people do? What do people like you and me do? There's nothing we can do, because they keep us, or the whole customer's always right and we're doing this for you. That's all bullshit. I've heard that 1,000 times. That's all BS. They keep you just functioning enough so you can perform another day's work for them. And then that gets into what has happened in the last couple of years here. Nobody wants to work. And I think to a certain extent on a subconscious level, people are starting to wake up and realize, how they're being manipulated and how they're being used. And there's a certain amount of pushback against that. Like me here, I don't want to participate in that system because I know what it is. I've seen it firsthand for myself, and I just no longer want to participate in that. So I go back to the old ways, and I start doing things, that take me out of that system as much as I possibly can. We're all tied in a death dance with the world that we live in to a certain extent, and none of us are going to get out of it alive. But I just don't feel that it's right, the things that are going on and continue to go on. And I think that they separate and they divide us, keeping us in boxes, so to speak. They keep us against each other. They keep the human race fighting against each other. And, people talk about enemies in other parts of the world and in other countries and stuff. Well, who facilitated that? Who facilitated those countries having the money and the influence to affect, the way of life of pretty much everybody on the planet? Where did that money and influence come from? Think about that once. Those countries weren't built just by hap circumstance. There was money and there was influence behind that because somebody thought it was a good idea to do this or that to make money for themselves, and they weren't thinking about people as a whole. I just want good people to be able to live their lives. They don't want that. They just look at you as a means to get another day's work done, to get something else done, as a way of profit. Hey, this guy made $5 right here. Let's try to figure out a way how we can get $3 of that out of him. And they sit around. These conversations take place. I've heard these things before. And I just no longer want to participate in those things. And that's why I live a little bit the lifestyle that I live. But anyway, this is just something to think about. Like I said, just my opinion. Just some of the things that I've seen, transpire over here the couple of years that I always knew was going to happen. The old timers always talked about it, how to never trust big money, that big money never has your interest no matter what they say in the commercials and the flashy stuff on the internet and social media. Back then it would have been in newspapers and on radio and stuff, but never trust them because they don't give a shit about you. Anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys got a little information, a little entertainment out of this video here. Just expressing myself here on This Morning Over Coffee. You guys take care.